For 13 years, I've led an institution that has never had to call a parent and say, we lost your child under our watch, or we behaved in a careless fashion which cost a staff member their life. What colleges and universities are, by their nature, feed this virus's behavior. And so, to me, the ethics involved in this is when you know that you are pursuing a course of action that is going to result in harm and suffering, then you have a responsibility to make decisions that are consistent with that knowledge.
Can I just add, when you start speaking about the economic model too, and President Sorrell, as you mentioned, we really just don't know a lot of things here. And so beyond just fatality, we have no idea about long-term sequelae of infection with this virus, right? So that's another aspect to think about this if we're talking, moving from kind of ethics to economics, is, not only those people that may die, but those people who may have a lingering, chronic illness because of this, which is just a huge black box right now. So one of the examples we've given over and over is like glass blowing. It's really hard to teach glass blowing online. So those are students that we would have back in campus in an art studio. They will be wearing masks, both students and instructors, or face shields, or maybe a combination of both, depending on kind of the activities. So of course, class size will be greatly reduced. We are considering looking at plexiglass for instructors to keep them, again, kind of separated from multiple students looking at them and breathing in their general direction. But again, our main focus is really to reduce that density as we come back.
What we know is that the disease spreads mostly in confined environments where people spend a long time together, talking, singing, touching each other. And so that's exactly what a classroom is. That is exactly what a dorm is. That is exactly what a party is, right? So it is a situation where it is likely that in many colleges there would be outbreaks unless the solutions that Tara mentions work really, really well.
Absolutely.
Jared, can I ask you, you think this is going to work?
I have no idea. And we have so many unknowns. I mean, if we have a certain threshold of cases on campus that have been diagnosed, public health can shut us down. They have the authority to say, okay, you guys have an outbreak here, everyone has to go home. So there are a lot of things that are completely, no matter how much planning we have, no matter how many contingency plans, it's out of our control.
Tara, something I think that as I listen to your comments, I think as a faculty member, we just have to understand that things are going to be different. And I think that we can't go into the fall thinking that it's going to look like what we've known before. And I think if we can adopt that mindset, then we can be prepared. One of the things that we can do is identify that there is an issue. And I think what I've noticed being a faculty member all these years is some of our colleagues don't recognize that there is an equity issue for a lot of our students. And I think that's the first step in overcoming it, is recognizing that there are a lot of students that are in need. There are a lot of students that are struggling. There are a lot of students that are balancing home and school and work all at the same time in a way that they've never had it before. And then spending some time, maybe it's depending on the size of your class, maybe it's you setting up one-on-ones with students and just trying to get to know them if your class is small enough, or just reaching out and sending out a questionnaire and asking people almost like a mental health questionnaire to find out what are you dealing with right now so you can understand the issues of your cohort. Because I think a lot of the way we approach our classes typically is we go in, we know our subject matter, we teach our subject matter, but we don't know the person. And we have to remember we're humans first and professors second. And I think that's how we can start overcoming it.
I think you're absolutely right. I think the first thing is this wouldn't seem so daunting if people just actually embrace the students in the first place. What we try and do is actually express to our students that we love them, right? Because what we have discovered is that people don't care what you know until they know that you care. Now, what gives me hope is that I was raised in a home by parents, and especially my mother and my grandmother, who steeped me in faith, right? Who told me that this too shall pass, and it's always darkest before the dawn. Thank you, honey. Daddy's right in the middle. Come, thank you. I think it's beautiful. I'm gonna hang it up, okay?
Okay.
So, hey, you want to wave at everyone?
Hi.
Hi.
So, it's darkest before the dawn, and this too shall pass, and we will get through this. It's just been made far more difficult than it had to be. But there is hope that when we get to the other side.
Go back. I mean, I think seeing people come together, and of course this has not been universal, and right now there are lots of problems, but I think seeing people really trying to work on this from all different types of backgrounds and things to fight this, I think that's been helpful for me to think about in some of those dark times.
For me, it's linked to a couple of things that Michael Sorrell said. This indeed will pass in a few years. This is bad now, but we will come back as a society. And the process actually is going to bring something very needed in higher education, which is, as again Michael mentioned before, competition, and bringing competition to the system, which is what this is going to do, is going to be beneficial for students in general, in particular, and as a result, for society in general.
I know for me, what's giving me hope is I just finished my class last night, and to receive the letters of encouragement and excitement and sadness that the class was over gave me hope, because in the midst of probably the biggest transition and the quickest transition that any educator has had to make, the students were thankful and excited, and they felt like they've learned so much. That gave me hope that, I've learned some new skills. I'm better now. So watch out. That next class is going to be even more phenomenal.